Welcome to Creative Brews. I'm Kristen, and this is your weekly dose of creativity, where photography, design, and life come together. So, grab your favorite drink, and let's talk about what's brewing. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode. As you can tell, I'm super excited. I'm glad to see you here and see all of your smiling faces. So I am pretty excited to do this episode. I feel like in a few previous episodes ago, I feel like I had a lot of ideas and like topics and things that I was gonna do. But I haven't really sat down and really, put together the topics and stuff like that. However, I was brainstorming just the other day, and I have decided to come up with another little mini series. So we'll see. I don't know that they'll be consecutive one after another, or if they'll kind of be like sprinkled in. I don't know. Maybe I'll do consecutive episodes for this mini series. But basically, what I want to call it is get my notes up here. Let's see. Basically, mindset myths. A mini series is what I'd like to start. It kind of all started with the if you build it, they will come, and why that mindset was flawed. Now, of course, I know like that kind of is a quote. So you're really only supposed to use it as like an affirmation if you align with that, if it resonates with you, and if you truly do feel it, then, you're supposed to kind of use it in that sense instead of a mindset. But I do know some people who do use it as like a mindset. So that kind of stemmed this. So yeah, mindset myths, a mini series. So far I've thought of 7 of them, and what I'll do is I'll go down the list. So that way you know what's to come, what this one is going to be about, because today's episode is on the fake it till you make it and why that mindset is flawed. Within this series, what I plan on doing is providing the psychology and the spiritual / woo-woo side. So that way, it kind of all encompasses why this mindset and other mindsets are flawed, and why it really sets you up for failure. Instead of being constructive, it's destructive. So yes, so go ahead and grab your favorite drink or a snack or whatever, or nothing. You can stay. And yes, so of course, if you are watching, you've noticed some adjustments. I haven't fully, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do as far as the mic and camera situation. But my fiance he surprised me with a neon sign. I have been trying to find just like a normal on-air sign or live with a little red dot sign, just something kind of small, not too big, something like that size. So that way I could have it in the background. I love, 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 love neon signs. What I really wanted to do and what I do plan on doing is getting one custom made to say Creative Brews. That's what I'd really like. Basically, like my logo. I would love to get that in a neon sign. However, custom neon signs, at least from what I've seen, are kind of expensive. And, you're not really guaranteed that you'll get longevity out of it. So, yeah, I figured this would be an awesome gateway into the neon signs. I really wish, like, where I live, I know everybody's areas have, like, different little selfie museums and stuff like that. Hold on. There are these places called selfie museums, and basically what they are is just kind of like a creative space. And they have different bays that are decorated. So that way you can take photos. So if you're doing something like content wise, or if you're a content creator, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why they made these little spaces. So that way you just pay up front for the whole time that you're there. Me and a friend of mine, we both went when I lived in a previous city. We both went to one, and it was really fun. It was a few years ago. Like, it's been a while ago. At least probably 5 years ago. It was really fun, and I kind of wish I could find one like that, but a bunch of neon signs, because like I said, I just love neon signs, like the colors and all that. That's why I love this one, because it's not just like one color, it's not just two colors, it's three colors. Oh, four colors. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of off subject. And of course, you can see behind me my website and how to enter if you're interested from a previous episode. So not the bonus episode that I uploaded for September, but the episode before the bonus one. I talked about basically going to be publishing a book. I'm excited. And during that episode, like, I've never been nervous in an episode like that before, but you can really tell, like, the nervous energy, because I didn't want to leave stuff out. I wanted to, really get the excitement across and stuff like that, but you can definitely tell I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. I think I got something in my eye. But yeah, again, links and information will be below in the show notes or the description, whether you're, watching or listening to the podcast, and how to enter into the early book crowd. So if you're interested in the book, if that's something you're interested in, you can join the early crowd because it's not published yet. It will be published in October. That is my personal deadline that I'm setting for myself. I'm not going to reveal the date yet, just because there's, some loose pieces that I want to put together. And I'm really just taking my time with the book, just because I don't want to rush and hurry and put something out and look back at it or receive a proof and be like, I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done this differently, So just really taking my time to spend on the book. I designed this book from cover to cover. All the quotes are original. They're all mine. So yeah. Anyways, again, if you want to join the early crowd, anyways, I did get some inquiry on the book and, people reaching out and stuff like that. So, which is amazing. Like, I don't know. I'm just on cloud nine. So again, if you're interested in getting into the early crowd and knowing like when, as soon as it publishes, being some of the first people to know, you can either go to the show notes below, the description below, or behind me, if you can see, hopefully you can see, there's a pop-up and you can go to my website. It'll pop up at some point in time, and you can enter in that way. So, and it does work because I've tested it. So, anyways, it should work. But if you want to be sure, my email is below. You can just shoot me an email. You can say literally hey or whatever, or enter me whatever, or I want to know whatever. So, with all that being said, we're going to get to the video, or the episode, sorry. All right, so we are going to get into it, the fake it till you make it, and why this mindset is flawed. Go ahead and get my notes up here. Okay, so we've all heard of the term fake it till you make it. We have all probably been, in that mindset at some point of time in our lives. And maybe you haven't, but what if I told you that mindset could be the very thing holding you back? So, what we're going to do is each episode is going to be split up into about 3 or 4 parts. Like I said, I'm going to give you the psychology, the spiritual and woo-woo, and then just kind of wrap it all up. How you can reframe and maybe reorganize, maybe a different POV of thinking of this mindset, and how you can actually take this mindset and basically reframe it to work for you. Okay, so we're going to jump into the psychology side of things, and then the spiritual / woo-woo, and then kind of just wrap it all up / reframing the mindset. I know some of these are either terms or quotes or, used as an affirmation style, but some people do get caught in these like affirmations and switch them into basically a mindset, which is what you don't want to do sometimes with quotes and affirmations and stuff like that, because the like fake it till you make it term, quote, whatever you want to call it, affirmation, I kind of just sat down and thought about like, okay, well, while either growing up or while going to school or whatever, some of these terms were thrown around like, oh, well, you just got to fake it till you make it. And it just magically appears after you fake it. So I'm kind of trying to like break down the societal norms per se, or like what we've all heard growing up that doesn't work, but we were made to believe that it would work because it worked for someone who maybe they faked it till they made it and somehow made it, but they're still not happy with themselves. That's what I'm talking about. So, yeah, I think you get that. So, the psychology side, faking it, quote unquote, that term causes cognitive dissonance. It's dissonance. My pronunciation. So, basically, what that means is your brain feels a conflict between who you really are and who you're pretending to be. So, the mask that you put on for that day. That tension drains mental energy and increases stress. So, it's a proven fact that if you're faking it till you make it, you're probably not happy. You're probably stressed out because you're having to wake up and put on this mask and pretending to be someone that you're not or something that you're not, you know. And I get it. Like, I got sort of caught in that mindset when I first got out of college. I was like, okay, well, you know, I went on interviews and stuff like that because you're trying to find the job or, you know, you're trying to land your big job that you think you're going to be at for the rest of your life. No. This often also leads to what they call imposter syndrome because you're always aware of the gap between the fake version and the real you. So you always have that, like your conscience inside of you is like you're speaking to someone. Let's say you got your mask on for the day and you're completely not resonating with what you're saying. So first off, your conscience inside of you is going to be like, you don't really resonate with that. Like, why are you, you know, it's basically like, how can I put this as an example? So, like, you're sitting across from, let's say, a coworker or maybe the CEO of the business, and you're just word vomiting because you got your mask on and you're trying to make them believe that you are who you say you are, but you're not because you don't resonate with that. So there's always going to be this push and pull. I think that's the best example I can give is that there's always going to be that conflict between who you really are and who you're trying to fake to be. Over time, this creates burnout because keeping up a mask takes more energy than just being your authentic self. So, I think that really wraps it up. On the spiritual side / woo-woo side of things, spiritually, faking keeps you in an ego-driven illusion. You're projecting what you think on others and what you also want others to think of you, not what your higher self or your authentic soul energy wants. I hope that makes sense. When you build success from a false identity, the foundation is shaky. Like I said, you always have that conflict between who your authentic self truly is and what you really resonate with the fake version of you. It attracts misaligned opportunities, clients, and relationships. It blocks your intuition and flow because you're operating out of fear of not being enough. So when you're operating on fear or out of fear, you're not aligned and you're sending out mixed signals, which is not good. So if you're trying to manifest, you're not going to be able to manifest what you truly desire and truly are aligned with and what resonates with you. And you might even have some negative things happen to you. You know what I mean? So I hope that kind of explains everything. Anyways, let's move into the reframing proportion of this series. So, like I said, some of these are supposed to be used as an inspirational, motivational, like, if you build it, they will come. Fake it till you make it, I feel like ends up becoming a mindset that you put yourself in because you start out with good intentions and you're like, okay, well, I just have to move up into the role that I really want to be in, per se. But along the lines of fake it till you make it, because sometimes that could take years until you get into whatever role you're trying to get yourself into. Does that make sense? So it ends up becoming a mindset that you place yourself in. Initially, it was set with good intentions, but eventually becomes a ticking time bomb. Excuse me. So how to reframe the fake it till you make it. Instead of faking it until you make it, try embodying it while you grow into it. So set your intention of, I'm going to be, I don't know, it could be anything. I'm going to be an author or whatever, even though that's kind of not a good example. Like, maybe you're trying to become a manager or something. So, you set your intention and you really truly set yourself up to embody, okay, well, what does a manager do? Try to really sit down with yourself and embody whatever it is that you're trying to either get hired into or become. If you're going to be a business owner, whether it's a CEO, founder, an author, whatever it is, truly sit down, get real with yourself, because that's what it has to take. It has to take you sitting with yourself. If you need to meditate, journal, burn some sage, whatever it is that you need to do to truly embody this person that you are called to do. Like whatever the work is that you're called to do, that's what separates people from, oh, I'm just doing this because I like it. Or I'm just doing this because I love it. Those people are separated from people who truly sit with themselves and say, you know what? I feel called to do whatever it is. It could literally be anything. Writing a book, being a manager, becoming a CEO, thinking of a new product even. It could be anything. So an example affirmation that you can use instead of the fake it till you make it, and you keep repeating yourself, or repeating that in your head to yourself, is I am becoming more confident every day by practicing and showing up authentically. So spiritually, you're aligning with that person, embodying that person, and truly being who you really are instead of telling yourself, okay, well, today I'm going to put on this mask. You know what I mean? So that gets old. Like, at first, it might be kind of cool because it's almost like, oh, Halloween is almost here. What do I want to dress up as? Oh, okay, well, I'm going to dress up as a witch or whatever it is, a zombie or whatever. And, at first, you got to get all the things together if you're making it yourself or go out and buy it or whatever. And then Halloween comes and you put it on and you're like, ooh, this is fun. Well, just imagine that, but you can't take off the costume because it's stuck on you or something like that. You know what I mean? Or it tries to become one with you. And you end up losing yourself, and a lot of people end up depressed and end up with issues that they didn't sign up for initially because you're trying to make it in this world of hustle or grind, or you have to grind every single day, go 1,000 miles plus a minute, all this other stuff. Like, no, you need to slow down, and maybe if you don't know who you truly are, if you don't know your authentic self, then try out a few things. Like, try being a photographer, a designer, I don't know, anything. An author, a teacher, I don't know. But spiritually, this alignment, because that's what you're doing, you're aligning yourself with who you authentically are, and you could give a shit less who is judging you, who's looking at you, who's belittling you, who's saying, oh, you can't do that, or who do you think you are? You know what I mean? Like, those people who are like that are only jealous. And I know we've all heard that. Like, growing up, I had to get glasses. And I absolutely hated the glasses. I still do. I've never liked them. However, I do unfortunately have to use them to see detail. I'm not blind by any means. I almost legally was, actually, in my left eye. But, without my glasses, I can see bold things, but I can't see the fine details that I have been accustomed to seeing because of my glasses. So, anyways, I first got the glasses. I got made fun of heavily. And I'm a child. I think I was like 5 whenever I got my glasses. So, ever since kindergarten on, I got made fun of and all that other stuff. And my mom was always like, oh, well, people who are making fun of you are just jealous. And I didn't believe that. Because I'm like, why would somebody be jealous of somebody who's wearing glasses? Why? And honestly, like, now, obviously now, I fully understand that completely. What I don't understand is people who get jealous. That's going to be a separate topic that I touch on just because I've experienced that a lot throughout my life. I feel like that's something that a lot of people who either come across successful or are confident within themselves, they get belittled and they get, people who get jealous. And that's all human, but for me, like, I don't get jealous. What I do is I use that energy in a creative, opportunistic way. I fully get it, because people who get jealous of other people really, like, sometimes take that to heart and really let that get in the way of the relationship that they have with that person. So, it could be your friend, it could be family. Yeah, it can be family, okay? Anyways, so here are some psychology facts. Cognitive dissonance. Am I saying that right? I feel like my pronunciation's a little off. Dissonance. I keep wanting to say exactly how it's like looks, the word, but it's dissonance, not dissonance. Anyways, was the phrase was coined by psychologist Leon Festinger. When your actions don't align with your beliefs or true identity, your brain experiences internal conflict, which is what we just talked about. Stress, anxiety. You might start having like some fear settle into because you're acting like you're putting on a show in front of your coworker or CEO or whoever it is. And you're just putting on this show as if you're an actress or an actor, but within you, your conscience is saying, this isn't right, doesn't feel right. Why are you doing this? Why are you forcing us to act like somebody we're not? What's wrong with you? Like all these thoughts go through your brain, right? And you can kind of feel it within you. Like if you're an empath, which I am fully and wholeheartedly an empath, it feels like somebody is sticking a knife in my chest when I'm acting like somebody that I'm not. Or when I have to put on a quote unquote show, it doesn't go great because I have an issue with acting like something that I'm not. And I don't really care if people like me for who I truly am. You know what I mean? Because if you don't like me for my authentic self, then you don't need to be in my life. And quite frankly, I don't need you or that energy in my life. I don't need fake energy. Don't like it. I don't do it. I'm not about it. Whatever. Like, anyways, when your actions don't align with your beliefs are true. Oh, I just read that, obviously. Faking confidence or success creates this exact tension. It creates tension. It creates stress, anxiety, all of what we talked about. I feel like now we're kind of getting into a circle situation. Research shows for the imposter syndrome that 70% of people experience imposter syndrome at some point in their life. And I feel like it's only until you either get tired, like I've said in a previous episode, you only accept change or change things when you are truly tired of your own bullshit. Because that you're faking it until you make it. You're not completely disassociated with who you really are. Because this whole time, your inner self, your inner true 100% authentic self has been saying, you're lying. You're lying. That's a lie. Why would you say that? No, we don't like that. Why would you agree to that? You see what I mean? So sometimes some people are very irritable. They become depressed, irritability. They end up hating their lives because they're not really living their 100% real life. It doesn't resonate with them. And it creates also anger sometimes. So the fake it amplifies the tension, the imposter syndrome, the anxiety, stress, all of what we've been talking about. And you also end up with a constant fear of being found out. So if you're lying about who you truly are, like if you say, I love going skydiving, it's really great, or whatever. I don't know. I'm just picking something super random. Or yeah, no, I'm a book reader too, or whatever it is. And the person across from me is like, oh my God, have you read blah, 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 this book? And you're like, oh my God, yeah, I love that. You haven't read that book. Like, you know within you, you haven't read that book. You know within you, I don't like skydiving. Like, that completely, that's one of my fears. Why would I say that? You see what I mean? It's kind of like you're putting up this dominoes, each domino piece. You're setting it out. You're faking it till you make it. I'm faking it. One of these days, something's gonna work out, and then I can become my authentic self, and then I can let my 100% true self show through once I make it. But I have to make it first. And like I said, you're putting up these domino pieces, and somewhere along the lines, what happens with domino pieces? They all come down. Somewhere along the lines. It could be years. You've been acting like someone you're not for the past, I don't know. There's been people that wake up one day, per se, and really sit with themselves and think about, you know what? I have been living a lie. All these years, I've been living a lie. I've been putting on this mask each day. That's a scary thought to have, especially, like I said, if you're an empath. Like, I got chills thinking about this. Like, that's scary to me. I don't know what's scary to you or if that's scary to you, but it's scary to me. To be living a lie? What do you mean? Like, you woke up one day and you're like, oh my God, I've been lying for the past 10 years. I don't actually like reading. I hate reading. I like gaming, whatever it is. But that person hates gaming. You know what I mean? So, and now that we're talking about all of this and deep diving into some things, this doesn't just happen in the workplace or after college. You graduate college or you graduate high school. What's worse is if you graduate high school and you're going to college for something that you completely hate. Like, that's also scary to me. Like, I don't know who would sign up for that. I mean, you're possibly paying for college. Like, why would you pay to do something you hate? Why would you pay to do something you have to talk yourself into doing or going to or whatever the case is? So it's not just in the workplace. It's within life in general. It happens in relationships, whether that be friendships, whether it be love interest, whatever. Family, it can happen within family. Maybe you're faking liking someone, whether it's family, a love relationship, a friendship, whatever it is. Like, I usually can pick up on fake energy. 9 times out of 10, I think I've stated in a past episode before, probably in the empath episode, when you're an empath, you can pick up on energy of any and everything. Everything is energy. This whole world is energy. We're energetic human beings. It's a proven, scientific, proven fact. Your heart, I'm getting ahead of myself. Your heart runs on energy. We all run at a different frequency. I know this all sounds crazy, but it's a scientific, proven fact. You can look it up. You can research about it. If you don't believe me, your heart for forget all the other organs. Your heart runs on energy. Why do you think whenever, let's say, you go to the hospital and they do an EKG and the doctor or surgeon or whoever looks at you and says, "Are you aware that you've had a heart attack?" Yeah, it's because your heart runs on a circuitry type of energy. So your heart runs on a pattern. If it gets knocked off the pattern, the doctors, whoever, if you're in the hospital, they can tell. So, anyways, yes, so you live in the constant fear of being found out. Emotional labor, and you also have some identity formation happening. So, emotional labor, term from psychology, sociology, basically means pretending to have fake confidence, faking enthusiasm. I can't talk today. So, faking the confidence, faking your enthusiasm, faking being happy for someone, etc., which drains you emotionally, which drains your energy. Period. Your emotional energy, all your energy, like it just drains you energetically. Which also is found out that it leads to burnout faster. So, yes. Identity formation psychologists say lasting confidence is built through mastery experiences. So, those small wins, the real, practice, the fail. Sometimes, whenever you have the little fails, you're like, okay, well, I learned from that. I know what to do different next time. Or it sucks, but I know what to do, next time differently. And also growth. So whenever you see growth happening, whether it's big or small, you're like, oh my God, that's awesome. Like, I'm going to keep going, or if you have someone in your life who's like, no, you should keep going. Like, you're doing great. I'm proud of you. Stuff like that. Like, it keeps you going. So, like for me with this podcast, I've seen growth with probably every episode, I would say, just about. And so, I'm just like, oh man, that's awesome. People are actually interested, Like I said, I would still be here talking about whatever it is anyway, just because I'm really truly interested in these things that I talk about. So whether someone watches or not, I'm still gonna be here, talking to whoever wants to listen and tune in and stuff like that. Faking skips. So basically, whenever you're faking something, it skips the actual practice, and which creates a weak and shaky foundation, like we discussed before. So it really keeps you behind. It keeps you from growing. And it keeps you from really finding out who you really are. Maybe you thought, you know what? I love writing. I'm going to become an author. And you do that. And then you're like, you know what? I really like designing instead of, being a writer or whatever it is. Again, you can literally apply this to your life in any way, shape, or form that resonates with you. So the spiritual / woo-woo side, the law of vibration. Spiritually, everything is energy. We just talked about that. When you're faking, you're vibrating out of alignment. So you're sending out mixed signals, which is what we just talked about not too long ago. I'm kind of going back over some things just to kind of explain it a little bit more. You'll end up attracting experiences / people that match the mask instead of who you truly are. Ego versus higher self. So faking it equals ego driven, rooted in fear of not enough. True growth equals higher self, rooted in authenticity, alignment, etc. Ego based success feels empty because it's not what your soul is truly aligned with. Energetic drain. So masks and pretending require constant energy to maintain. You have to constantly think, okay, well, what lie did I tell this person? What lie did I tell that person? What have I told everybody? Because I can't remember. Because after a while of lie on lie on lie, so lie compounding, you will eventually forget, and that person be like, oh, well, I thought you didn't like orange juice or whatever it is. I don't know. It could be anything. Again, it could literally be anything. When you operate from truth, energy flows freely, and you are more at ease. So that also means more creativity, magnetism, and synchronicities that we've previously talked about. We've previously talked about synchronicities, and we'll be diving more into, some spiritual things here and there. Spiritual burnout, you can also experience that. Just like physical burnout, spiritual burnout happens when you're constantly out of alignment. So when you're constantly living a lie and you're out of alignment, you're not only sending out mixed signals, but you're not aligned. So let's say you have been seeing some synchronicities lately. It could literally be anything. Numbers, animals, the same book, the same song, whatever it is. The same song that has a message that resonates with you, and same with the book. Anyways, it could literally be anything, people. But when you're out of alignment and you've been living a lie, you're no longer aligned with the synchronicities. And so you're out of balance. So you're living a life that's out of balance. You're faking it, and you're on edge all the time. You're on pins and needles. You're walking on eggshells and all this other stuff. Like, the spiritual side of things becomes very blurred. I think that's the best way I can explain it. So living a fake it lifestyle leads to disconnection from spirituality, and probably from, if you claim to be Christian, Catholic, whatever you claim and whatever resonates with you religiously and spiritually, you will disassociate and disconnect slowly but surely from those things. It's a proven fact. Again, I mean, you can do your own research about everything that we've talked about here in this podcast episode. That's the reason why I've kind of broke each episode down to 3 areas, and then I try to recap, which is what we're doing right now. We're recapping, kind of going back over some things, and I'm trying to kind of break it down even further. For some people, you might be like, yeah, okay, and click off because you already get it. For other people, you might not, and you might need some extra, basically, what do you call that? Some extra explanation about, the topic or whatever. So if I still haven't done a great job of explaining, which hopefully I have, because I've tried to think about a few different ways to explain all this stuff from different points of view and using analogies and examples and all this other stuff, you can do your own research. And honestly, even if you still get it and you're like, okay, whatever, I would encourage everybody to do their own research about these topics. Um, so, yeah, disconnection from your intuition, inspiration, and divine timing. So, honestly, what you're doing, so to wrap this all up in a nice little bow, what you're doing is you're not only keeping yourself behind from growing, from, vibrating at a higher frequency and whatnot, you're spiritually keeping yourself from the life that you truly desire. So, whatever that is for you, you are keeping yourself behind. Instead of clearing the pathway to success, we'll just use that as an analogy. You're literally setting up blocks to your real success because you're operating in a different frequency. You're vibing low. You're dumbing yourself down. You're basically putting up little boulders instead of clearing those boulders out of your way. So you're really, truly hindering yourself more at the end of the day. And look, I know it's scary to be your authentic self. It's scary, especially whenever maybe you have some people pleasing tendencies, which I definitely still do here and there. But as I've gotten older, I've really embodied who I truly am. And like I said before, if you don't like that, that's great. You don't have to be around me. You know what I mean? I don't want to be around someone who doesn't really like me. You know what I mean? Or who is only there because they want to watch you fail. You know what I mean? I feel like we've all kind of experienced that. So, yes, some things to think about. Don't fake it. Embody it, people. Okay? Number 2, psychology. Build confidence through consistent small actions in your brain. So every day, do something small that's going to build you up instead of break you down or keep you back from the life that you truly desire. And for the spiritual side of things, show up authentically and trust the process. Trust the timing, the process. The journey is what it's all about. I never really truly understood that until I would say this year. The journey to getting to wherever you truly desire and you truly want is where the magic is. I have been so blind about that. I've always heard it and I've always been yeah, but I don't really see that. Because I was all about the hustle, the grind. I gotta fake it till you make it. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. So, the universe responds to your true, authentic, 100% self and your true frequency. So, when you truly vibrate at the frequency that you're supposed to, the universe will provide. Or God, or whoever you believe in. If you say universe, God, whatever it is. It could be a tree outside. Seriously, yeah, we won't get into that. But, anyways, I hope that this kind of wraps everything up and explains everything. I really hope this isn't a super long episode. Again, sorry for all the cuts. Mom life. You know what I mean? All the moms, all the dads, all the parents, everybody. All the moms know what I'm talking about. Cheers. And Yeah, so I don't think I went over, before I leave, I don't think I went over the topics. So, like I said, this is going to be a mini series. I'm not exactly sure how many episodes it'll be, and I don't know if I'll do them consecutively, like one after another, or just sprinkle them in. I might just sprinkle them in with all the other topics that I want to talk about. So we have this one, fake it till you make it. Why it fails every time. Hustle hard equals burnout. The myth of endless grinding. So we've kind of talked about in previous episodes creative burnout or experiencing burnout and stuff like that. So it'll probably kind of not repeat, but give a different, because I am, like I said, going to give the psychologies, the spiritual woo woo, the reframing, and then the recapping of everything. The power of no, why saying yes to everything dilutes you. The overnight success illusion. Perfectionism is procrastination in disguise, which is something that I can truly speak about because I have always tried to be a perfectionist and it's drove me crazy. Now, again, as I've gotten older, I've broke stuff down, like the people pleasing, the perfectionists part of me and stuff like that. Like I've really done a deep dive. Obviously, we're always working on ourselves. I kind of feel like working on yourself, healing yourself, whatever it is that you're doing, is there's always going to be like something to do, something to work on, something to grow, stuff like that. Manifestation without action, the half truth that holds you back. And last but not least, more followers. Today I can't talk or pronunciate right. So more followers does not equal more success. So, if that all sounds like something you are highly interested in, I encourage everybody who's listening or watching to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're following and all of that so that way you don't miss an episode. Again, all of my links are down below. And again, if this resonated with you or if you thought of someone who truly needs to hear this message today, please share it. It definitely helps. Seriously. It seriously helps. Again, as always, I want to thank everybody. And yeah, I can't wait to talk about the other topics. So I will see you all in the next episode. Cheers.